Once again, we'd like to thank Comcast Business Class for sponsoring Networking Squared for the month of April. Welcome back, Networking Squared. Jerry O with my co-host, Mr. Al Crawford. We've got Todd and Josh from Talon SBS. We were talking about this 276-point assessment and how critical this was on using it for examining your business. And this is actually something you do for free. How long does this thing take?
Well, the interview with the entrepreneur is about 3 to 4 hours. Depends on how talkative they are. Sometimes we get into a lot of stories. We've done this as many as 2 segments of 3 hours, and a smaller business can be done in a couple hours. But we really try to get as much information as possible so we can really understand the business. Not only ask the questions and get the answers, but really dig in behind that of what the passion of the business owner is.
So when they're answering a question, are you typing it? Are you so you're actually putting the answers down when you ask them. So it's an interview, not an online.
Yeah, it's a direct interview just like this. It's conversational, and we take notes along the process and then compile all the answers afterwards.
Oh, okay. That was I didn't understand that part of it. I thought it was like there was actually 276 questions that you asked on the thing. So the interview itself actually then creates this 276-point report that's going back to that person?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And can everybody do this, or are there people that don't fit into this model, or?
Yeah. We usually start off with we call a pre-assessment dialogue, just getting to know them a little bit, see if it's a right fit, because it is a time commitment investment on their part. And so dialogue, learn a little bit, and see if there is the right fit. But it's definitely not for everybody, because the outcome of the Biz Strength profile is some very some very good things that you want to do in your business, but you got to be ready to do them. We're not talking about playing games. We're talking about real business, and we're talking about real next steps to move the business in the direction that owner or entrepreneur wants that company to go. And so it takes some stamina to do that, and sometimes you're making tough choices, you're doing difficult things, but if success in the business is the desired goal, then this is for you.
Can you give some examples of some of the things that you suggest or some of the services that you offer?
One of the things that we offer is one of the more boring parts of a small business, and that's the accounting. It's very critical. It's all about the money, but at the same time, it's not the sexy side of product development or sales and customer interaction. But it's very critical, and oftentimes in a small growing business, the critical part of accounting gets handed off to perhaps a secretary or somebody who's not trained in bookkeeping, and this can lead to a number of problems. Certainly, the data may be entered properly, or there may be some mistakes, but oftentimes it's not done in terms of categorizing information in a way that you can extract it later to make good business decisions and so forth. So what we've done is we've replaced that activity with an outsourced, locally generated process whereby we'll do on an hourly basis, on an on-demand basis, the accounting for a company in a few hours a week, what they were having somebody do on a full-time basis.
And when we talk about the outsourcing, obviously these are people that you have interviewed, that you know who they are and everything they're about.
Yeah, absolutely. Local people right here.
Okay, awesome.
Now, that's the on-demand services. Now, I might have had my notes messed up here, but I'm looking here, I'm going, okay, so accounting. Now, does human resource come under that too then?
Yeah. In the Biz Strength profile and part of the outcome of that, we're looking at several areas in the business. We're looking at accounting. We're looking at sales and marketing. We're looking at human resources. We're looking at client relations, and we're looking at operations. And so we have on-demand solutions to fit the need in any one of those. Also, IT is tied into that as well, so particular solutions that might line up with that. But all of those things are critical components to the business, so we're looking at all of them, and we've got solutions to fill a need in every space there.
And so when you have this, so you're going to come up with a suggestion. So then you're going to basically give the list of things that you're suggesting, and then are there price points that are discussed then on each of these features, or how does that work?
Yes. What the end of the report is the next steps, and those next steps are then defined as potential projects, and those could be one-time projects with a fixed fee, or those could be ongoing projects with an hourly rate, and those are defined there. Although within this process, we don't have the ability to do a deep dive, say, into their entire accounting system. So they're merely outlines of a project. And then when the decision to move forward goes, we'll then build a detailed proposal for each of those segments. But the important thing is that we really work with the business, and having been in business, we understand that it's not about just making your accounting better, but it's how does that improve your business? Right. And what's the bottom line? How does that really impact them? So we try not to, and we're very conscious of not suggesting things just for the sake of having a better procedure, but only when that better procedure is going to make their company better and improve their bottom line.
Yeah, I think one of the things in our pre-interview you had said is that it's not just about making more sales. It's about being more efficient and being better. And please elaborate on that some more, please.
Yeah, in a business, right, it's not about just each one individual space, right? You know, the number one response we get in entrepreneurs is, you know, I want the business to grow, so I need more sales. Who doesn't, right? Everybody wants some more sales in their business, but that's part of a multi-pronged approach to moving the ball forward on that company. So sales might be a very important part, but what goes along with sales? Well, if you're going to get more sales, what's the marketing program in that company look like? How are we marketing? What's the message that we're sending? What's the brand that we have? When people hear the name, what do they think of? How about client relations? We spend all this time marketing. We spend all this time selling and bringing new clients in the door, but how do we manage them? You know, what are we going to do? We have a revolving door. We keep bringing new people in, but the old people keep going out because we can't service them. So it's really about looking at everything and how we can move multiple things forward in a consistent way that lines up with the plan, with the vision, to achieve the goal.
All right. And we are Networking Squared. We are about networking. Can you talk a little bit about your outreach to your surrounding community, and for how you're networking and how you are actually reaching out to people to let them know who you are?
Absolutely. We certainly engage in all of the social media and network and expose ourselves in that way. We also attend a number of networking events, and we also host our own networking events. We have what we call a BizMix, and a BizMix is something we host at our location in Livonia, and that happens once a month, maybe every 6 weeks. And there's lunch. It's 12 to 2. We have an engaging local speaker come in to talk about a relevant topic. We've talked about social media. We've talked about strategic planning. We've talked about marketing, a number of different things. And so within that BizMix, people come in, have a chance to eat, network with each other, and then get some engaging information, learn a little bit about Talon, and that's a free lunch event, lunch and learn type of environment.
Right. And we'll get that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll have the details on Facebook, and if somebody's not on Facebook, you should be. But how else can they get a hold of you guys to get more information about that event?
Sure. Well, we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TalonSBS, TALANSBS. Also, we're on Twitter @TalonSBS, and you can email us at info@TalonSBS, and then our website TalonSBS.com.
All right. And Talon seems to be the focus here.
Yeah, it's not the old Eagle Talon. I was having a flashback from the 80s. But going back to this, and one of the things that I was really excited when we were talking about the different things that you provide is that you have embraced social media as an additional tool for the small business owner. And can you elaborate on how you guys do that and what your setup is with that?
Sure. Well, we certainly believe in social media, being very much into technology, being very much into utilizing social media ourselves, our families. I have older daughters, but they were all teenagers and very involved in all the technology. So it's good to look at them to see where things are in the future. But we also believe that there's a lot of small businesses out there that pretty much they all say, yeah, we need to do this social media thing. What is it? And they don't know how. And so in part with how we embrace everything for small businesses, we engaged all of our people and said, how can we package a small business solution engaging social media? And so we have a sort of a social media in a box solution that uses some of our outsourced partners and allows us to create all of the existing pages out there for them in the different venues, and then engage with the client to keep the information fresh and updated, which is obviously critical in any type of a social media environment.
And we all agree that the small business owner has to have a presence on social media. And I think what we find a lot of times is that either they haven't embraced technology or they feel they don't have the time. And it's something that we talk about it every week, that this is something that has to be a part of their marketing plan. So I'm really glad to hear that this is something that you guys offer, because it is a huge, huge thing that our listeners need.
It is critical, Al, you mentioned that. It is very critical that it's part of a strategic plan in the marketing. You can't just do social media. What is the point? And how does it tie into the bigger marketing picture of the company? And it can be, you could spend 8-10 hours a day just updating Twitter and Facebook, right? So that's why we developed the plan, so that it can be managed. You can get great fresh content that aligns with the marketing vision and the direction that you want to go, and gives the business owner the opportunity to focus on what they need to focus on and know that this is running and it's happening and it's connecting and things are going on with their business.
So check out their fan page and look at it. It's a great page. Jump on it, become a fan, and there's a lot of information you can learn from them on there.
All right. Well, the segments are rolling by. On the other side of the break, I want to talk about LeaderCast. We're going to talk about another great event that you guys are an integral part of, and I just learned how big it is. So we're Networking Squared. We're going to be right back. Talk about LeaderCast. Thank you, Talon SBS. Thank you.